dive into all these sweet guitars, want to give a big shout out to Gibson for providing these amazing 2019 custom shop guitars. If you want to find out more about Gibson and what they're up to, click the link in the description. Hey, what's up you guys? Marty Schwartz here from Marty Music, hanging out at one of my most favorite places in the world, Songbirds Guitar Museum in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm here with the curator, David Davidson.
Nice to see you again.
Pleasure to see you, man. You've been so gracious here at this wonderful museum. If you're anywhere near the area or you're looking for the ultimate guitar education experience and just geekery, you gotta come here and check it out. So what we're doing in this video is we're taking a brand new Gibson and just comparing it, contrasting and comparing it to its vintage counterpart. And since we've got the expert here, you can tell me what guitars I was jamming here. So this is a, what do we got here?
That's a Gibson custom aged 61 Les Paul SG. The interesting thing about this guitar is that originally they didn't come with stop bar tail pieces. So this is a little bit of a modded version that Gibson puts out because a lot of people prefer. They took these tail pieces off and they put those on.
I like this just because it just stays in tune better.
Absolutely.
And I'm not good with the tricks, you know, I mean, it's cool to have, but it's nice to have a guitar that is solidly in tune. So this is from 2019.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Brand new, custom shop.
Brand new. They put all the checking in there for you. They beat it up so you don't have to.
Hey, perfect.
One of the interesting things is that this guitar came about when the Les Paul was kind of falling out of favor, the traditional looking Les Paul. Gibson made the guitar look like this, and it was not called the SG. As you can see on the truss rod cover, it says Les Paul. And they stayed Les Pauls until 1963 when Les's contract was up and they didn't have a name for it, so they called it the solid guitar around the factory, and that in fact became the SG.
And then so what's this beautiful vintage SG we've got here?
This is a 1965 Gibson SG, no longer a Les Paul, just an SG, and this color is called Pelham Blue. It's a custom ordered color, as the cherry that you're playing is the standard color for this guitar.
I like that blue color.
It is a really neat color,
Yeah.
and these were like old DuPont Duco auto finishes, and Pelham Blue happens to be one of the nicest ones. And when they age, and this one really hasn't much, but if they see a lot of cigarette smoke or sunlight, UV, they turn to a kind of like a greenish blue, which is kind of pretty. You know, the biggest difference is this is modeled after more like a 61. The neck on this is going to be a little thinner than the neck on that. Okay, and again, the lyre tailpiece, which was a very popular thing for Gibson, the Maestro lyre tailpiece. That guitar originally would have had a different type of tailpiece. It would have had a vibrola that you pulled this way called a sideways vibrola. Didn't prove to be very popular, only lasted a couple of years.
What was the first year of the SG?
1963, like half year. Went from Les Paul SG to just SG.
And did this become more popular than the Les Paul for a while, or?
Well, SGs, they sold a ton of these things because, like you said before, they were affordable.
Yeah.
And they made several different versions of this guitar. They made the standard, which had the humbucking pickups, as well as the special, which had P90s or soap bars, like you saw on other guitars here.
Yep.
And they also made the Junior, like kind of like a Les Paul Junior with one little dog-eared P90. So they made different models. And they also made a custom with 3 pickups and all gold hardware, ebony fingerboard. So a more elite guitar for the people that could spend a little more.
Any other tidbits about that particular piece?
Well, they're actually, any of these Gibson guitars and colors are actually very scarce.
Okay.
You know, they made hundreds and hundreds of guitars, just like all manufacturers. But when they introduced these colors in the 60s, they really were in there to rival the Fender colors that were out there now. And this is a very close derivative of the Fender color. Fender had a color called Lake Placid Blue. This is Pelham Blue, just a couple of codes off the color chart. So they're excruciatingly rare in color, and people seek them all the time. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people responding to this video saying, hey, how can I get a blue one? Wow. And all you have to do, believe it or not, Gibson will paint one up for you just like this. So if you want one in this color, you know where to go. Just go to your Gibson retailer.
This one is in pristine condition.
It's pretty clean. I mean, it's got a little wear and tear here and there, but that's going to happen. Especially this paint is very, very hard, so it tends to check or crack a little easier. Expansion and contraction, humidity, you know. We'll make that happen to a guitar. This one is really clean, but it's got its war.
Oh, yeah.
It's got its, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's got its marks.
I would love to play some more while we're here.
Absolutely.
That's cool. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll kind of, play some similar licks on both guitars, and we'll see what we can get.
Cool.
Well, thank you again. Once again, this is David Davidson from Songbirds Guitar Museum in Chattanooga. Got a link below, so really want you guys to check it out and support this great place. I mean,
Thank you.
It's more than a museum, really. It's an experience.
Yeah, there's a lot to do here. I mean, and if you guys ever want to play any of these guitars, we have this great players experience. Just come down, call us up, send us an email, we'll set you up. It's pretty neat.